Hi, I'm Mr. Miller, and this is a lesson on income, expenses, and savings. So this is part of the financial literacy unit. We're looking at income, expenses, savings. And so we're going to start off with income. So income is often the money you receive for work you do. But of course, sometimes it's just a gift. Now, for example, let's say there's an employee in a hair salon who's getting paid $15 per haircut. One week, he does 22 haircuts and also makes $50 in tips. The question is, what is his income for this week? And then a follow-up question, is it likely to be the same every week? So, when I'm calculating income, here's what I would do. So the income is $15 per haircut, and we're going to multiply that by the number of haircuts that he gave for that week. Now, this isn't the entire pay. There's also another $50 that he made in tips. So if we combine that together, that would be his total pay. So $15 times 22. I can either do that on a calculator or just a real quick mental math way of doing this. You can say, oh, well, let's see, it is 15 times 2 is 30. 15 times 20 is 300. So that would give a total of $330. So that's the first part of the pay. The other part of the pay is from tips. So there's another $50 there, and so the total amount of pay or income is $380. Now the follow-up question is this. We're asking, is it likely to be the same every week? And so I would say no. So here's my explanation for that. So I would say it is unlikely for him to be paid the same every week because he may not cut the same number. I guess, where am I at here? He may not do the same number of haircuts each week. So that would partly change his pay. And also his tips could vary, which means they could be different from week to week. So depending on who the clients are, some people tip a little bit, some people tip a lot. And so that could definitely change from week to week. All right. So next we're talking about expenses. So expenses are items you purchase or pay for, buy, however you want to phrase that. And these can be clothes, can be food, can be cell phone service, a number of different things. But basically, expenses are a cost to you. And savings is what's left over when you subtract your expenses from your income. So here's an example that's looking at the relationship between those things. You've got a student who has a part-time job, works 45 hours in a month. She is paid $12 an hour. She lives at home, currently doesn't have to pay for rent or food. Her one recurring expense at the moment is her cell phone service. So her cell phone bill is usually $50 per month. The question is, how much of her income is left after she has paid her cell phone bill? In other words, what are her savings at the end of the month? So let's phrase it just that way. The savings is going to be income, and sorry, that was a bit of an ugly I. Let's try that again. That's better. So income take away expenses. All right, so to calculate income, we're going to take the number of hours that this person works in a month, which is 45 hours, and multiply by how much she gets paid per hour. So 45 times 12. And then we're going to subtract her expenses, which are only the $50 for cell phone bill. So 45 times 12. Let's see. Can I do this mentally, without actually going mental? 45 times 2 is 90, and 45 times 10 is 450. 450 plus 90 would give me $540. Okay, that's not too bad. And now if we subtract the $50 of expenses, that means that every month she has $490. So that's her savings for the month. Maybe she should be paying rent. Anyways, so let's talk about savings for a second. People have different reasons for savings. Maybe it would be useful for you to think about some different reasons why people save their money. Take a moment to think about that now. All right, so now that you've had a minute to think about that, I'm going to list a few reasons, and maybe these are the reasons that you've got, or maybe they're a little bit different. So let's compare notes here. So some people save their money to be able to make a big purchase. All right, so there's one reason. Some people save their money to invest it in stocks or property or something like that, some kind of an investment. And some people save their money in case they lose their job. So heaven forbid you lose your job. But if you do you have some money saved up so that you can get by during that time when you're looking for a new job? So it's actually recommended that when you start working, you try to get what's called an emergency fund. And it can be anywhere from enough money to cover 3 months of your bills or up to 6 months of your bills. Of course, more than that is just fine. But if you have more money than that, you may want to invest it in something. All right, so those are just a few reasons, and it's certainly not an exhaustive list. You can add to that list. You can come up with your own reasons. You don't have to copy down the ones that I've got here. I just thought I'd give you a few more ideas to consider. So let's look at one final example here. Let's consider the last example with the person who is working 45 hours a month, getting $12 an hour, and having the $50 cell phone bill per month, and that was the only expense to consider for now. The question is, how long would it take the student to save for a $1,200 computer? So, if you look at what she's able to save, she is able to save $490 per month. Right, so we could even add this in as a note. This is $490 per month. And so now when we're looking at trying to buy a $1,200 computer, you have to ask yourself, well, how many times does 490 go into that? And so that's going to be at least twice and possibly even more than that. So I'm just going to switch to the Desmos graphing calculator, do a quick calculation here. And you know me, I like projector mode and reverse contrast. Makes me feel like Lego Batman. Anyways, maybe not. What were the numbers again? We had 1200 divided by 490.
Oh, I gotta change it back again.
That's annoying. There we go. So 1200 divided by 490. So it's approximately 2.4 months. So 2.4489 blah blah blah. So this is the number of, whoa boy. So this is the number of months, and you could say it's approximately 2.5 months. I mean, you could certainly say 2.4 if you want, if you wanted to just round to one decimal place, but you know, you'd say 2 months and maybe another 2 weeks to be able to get enough pay to be able to cover the cost of that $1,200 computer. And that's assuming that's the total cost including tax, right? And there's no environmental fees extra and so on. All right, so for somebody who is working a job and they know how much their savings are in a certain amount of time, they'll be able to make a plan for making a large purchase like that. Again, that was one of the reasons that I indicated that people do make sure that they have some savings so they can make some kind of a big purchase in the future. Some people save so that they can invest in something like stocks or property or other things. And some people are smart. They recognize that, hey, if I get sick, heaven forbid, I can't work. If I lose my job, if I can't do my job for a while, if I have some savings I can fall back on, that will help to ride out those tough times until you're able to find a new job or get back to work if you're sick. So in any case, those are some basics around income, expenses, and savings. So if you take a look at the next page, there are some practice questions to do here where you're calculating income and looking at income in a few different ways. And so there are kind of a few different levels of questions here. So let's see. We've also got some answers to these questions so you can check. So questions 1 through to 9, you should attempt to do all these questions and then you can check the answers afterwards. Try not to peek at them until you've attempted to do them yourself. And that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching this quick lesson on income, expenses, and savings, and have yourselves a great day. Bye.